I'd like to welcome the second half of our Three Rivers Conference Division Champ interviews. This time we're welcoming in Ryan Oetting from Morrison High School. It seems like it's been a while, but Three Rivers Rock Division Champ still sounds pretty good to you, huh?
Yeah, it sounds real nice. We got painted up on the back of the stadium there, 2019. So, and the kids drive by that in the parking lot coming into school, and it is nice, but it has been a while.
Yeah, well, Coach, let's look a little bit forward here. How excited were you guys to get the news and talk about, telling your players and kind of just the ups and downs you've been through here in the last year or so?
Well, they're excited. It's been a long fall and winter. Not sure what the spring's really going to bring. Kids are excited. We've been doing some weight room work. We got a lot of kids in basketball right now. Being a small school, we're going to have to figure out how to share some of them. But we are excited to get back on the football field and compete a little bit, even if it is a little different season.
It's a little bit unfortunate that there's no playoffs to look forward to, especially for a team like you guys that was so talented and made a great run in 2019. But give me a little bit of the scouting report. What are you guys going to look like?
Well, we lost quite a bit. I mean, we did. We had a lot of good seniors, that did a great job for us in the program for 4 years. But we do bring back our quarterback, Nathan Helms. I think he threw for roughly over 1,000 yards, maybe, 1060, something like that. Doesn't turn the ball over a lot. Bring back big tight end T.C. Ottens. I think he had 14 or 15 catches last year. A couple senior linemen. Tyson Smith started at center 2 years now for us, and Aaron Wolf at guard. So, we have some other seniors in there that are going to step up as well. Brennan Linky's one on the defensive side of the ball. Hope we get some time at linebacker. So we're excited about getting back to things.
Take me back to the 2018 season. Your first year, you go 2-7, but that's with 3 one-score losses, and then you lost a starting quarterback in the middle of that season. What was kind of the vibe amongst the team heading into 2019? Do you think they felt like they could compete and turn it around, or did you have to do some convincing at how close they may actually be?
No, they're a good group of competitors. I mean, those kids, it doesn't matter if it was football, basketball, or track or baseball, they were going to put out there and compete no matter what. We did talk a little bit about the close losses. I remember we fumbled a couple times against Riverdale, and Jake got hurt, like you said, in the Fulton game, and we threw a sophomore out there, which is Nathan Elms, our senior this year. He gained some experience from that, but it was a tough position to put him in. But, we understood we were right there on the edge of it, and with some hard work in the off season and the weight room, and we had kids out working on extra points and lifting and running together, even over and above what we had scheduled. They were ready for 2019. They understood that 2018 was a growing year.
So, yeah, let's look at that 2019 season then. How did you see your players change throughout that year? What happened, throughout that year as wins piled up?
Well, I'll be honest, the weight room was a big thing. You could see how much stronger our kids were getting. They were buying into what we were doing. We had some team speed. The Anderson kid running track down at U of I now. Nick Allen, Nathan Mickley, those kids were fast in our relay. So we had that team speed already. We just needed to build our bodies up and our confidence up. And I think that's really what happened and how they kind of transformed. They became the seniors and it was their time. And they accepted that challenge and they took it on, whether it was on or off the field, in the classroom, in the community. It was a really good group to have. And we're certainly going to miss them this year.
Yeah, that group certainly seemed like a, program changing type of group, especially when you look at the results, the way they flipped. You talk about that team speed, talk about that track speed. You had guys who, were on the Morrison track and field team that got a 4th place finish at state the year before. How did you make sure that you utilized that team speed on offense and defense? It's easy to have speed, but you got to make it work. You got to make it fit into a game plan.
Yeah, I mean, with the Anderson kid, we spread him out a little bit and tried to get him a one-on-one, and we knew if we could get him the ball and we could make the pitch and catch that, he was probably going to run away from just about anyone that was on a football field. Defensively, our team speed, Mickley played linebacker. He flew around, did a pretty good job of filling, and our safety, Nick Allen, was one of those track kids who came up and would hit you too. you go back to that track story. I feel really bad for those kids not getting to compete last spring. I think they had a chance at, possibly being state champs as a team and certainly some individual opportunities for them. But, they grew through that as well. And most of them are off at college and doing their thing. But, we utilized it the best we could. It's nice to have. I mean, it's just something I was, gifted to have those young men.
It certainly looked like, based on some of the highlights, that you were able to utilize it pretty well. There was some, like you said, there was some gaps being made there on those runs to the outside. Coach, talk about your defense from a year ago. In 11 wins last year in 2019, you only allowed double digits twice, and you never had anybody score more than 13 points on you. You talked about the speed, but what was the key there? What really solidified for that team?
Well, they played us, our defensive line was pretty good. I mean, a lot of times the linebackers and your free safety and all that get credit. But our defensive line was awful tough. They took up a lot of blockers. We had Cooper Darby on there who graduated and Riley Wilkins who graduated playing end. So they ate up a lot of space and they let our linebackers run free and our defensive backs could run free and make tackles. That was a pretty big key. I mean, that speed went along with that, too, that we talked about earlier. I think we had probably, I'm guessing here, I'm looking over, I think we picked off 23 passes last year as well. And I think we scored 32 points defensively. So, we did it on both ways. So it was nice offensively and defensively. And a lot of that comes around the athleticism we had. We're going to be a little bit different group this year. But, we still have some athleticism, too. A couple younger brothers coming through the program. I got Alex Anderson, Keegan's younger brother. That's going to be pretty good. And some other returning kids, Caden White. So we look to have a lot more of the same, team atmosphere, flying to the football, 11 guys in the camera at the end of the play is what we were looking for.
Tough news this week. Mike Popos had a heart attack, just I think a week ago or so. Our thoughts and prayers certainly go out to him for a speedy recovery. Ryan, I wanted to ask you about him and his influence on you. You coached at Newman for 10 years, from 03 to 13. What are things that you saw in Mike and just being around Mike in that Newman program that you've taken with you now?
Well, it's a pretty good family atmosphere. I might need a minute here, Greg. Mike's a great guy. I feel really bad. It's hard when you work with someone that long, and he was a big influence on me. Yeah, I need a minute.
No, you're fine.
Well, we worked together for quite a long time and, went through some ups and downs, mostly good times on the football field, but we worked in the building as coworkers as well. So, as an AD, as a coach, as a teacher, and an AD, and a friend and a confidant, he meant the world to us. He means the world to us. So it's tough. I mean, he's big influence. So coaching-wise, building a team, family atmosphere, those types of things are things that are irreplaceable. And the kids come first. I mean, it's not about winning football games. I know that's the ultimate goal of the game, but that was never Mike's intent. It was about growing young men to be good fathers, good husbands, good employees out in the work world. And that was probably the biggest influence. And that's what I've tried to carry on as a coach myself. I apologize for getting a little emotional there.
No, that's certainly understandable. Our thoughts and prayers are certainly with Coach Popos and his family and the Newman program. It's really hard to find a better coach or just a better guy all around than him. And it's in my dealings, and just I know a lot of people I talk to. So certainly keeping our thoughts, with him, and hopefully we get a full recovery from a great man.
Yeah, he's been a great influence, Greg, on a ton of people over there. A lot of young men and young ladies through basketball and through being a teacher, being a community leader. So, the same comes from the Morrison family to Newman. We wish Mike the best and his family. So hopefully, if people pray, give them some thoughts in that regard.
Well, transitioning from that, which is not easy. Coach, we'll go a little no huddle here and kind of, go through some, kind of real quick question answer. We've talked about both defense and offense. when it comes to week strategy, which do you prefer game planning, for an offense or for the defense?
I prefer to do defense now, but I was an offensive guy most of my career. Last 4 or 5 years, I've kind of turned more into a defensive guy. I was our coordinator last year, so I like planning our defensive game plan, especially when I had team speed and linemen like I had last year. It was nice.
Yeah, absolutely. The playmakers you had probably certainly makes that defensive game planning more fun. I would say.
Yeah.
You have any game day superstitions? Any things that you do or practice superstitions or?
I don't know. I probably do. I don't know what they are. I might wear the same undershirt or something like that. I don't really know. I try to stay away from people as long as I can. It's hard to find me around the stadium early on. News media has been looking for me. My coaches are calling me. Go listen to some music maybe, and then hide for a little bit and then show up at game time.
All right, one current coach in the NFL, college, or somewhere in high school that you could add to your staff full-time. Not replacing anybody that you got on your staff, but just a football mind that you want to have around to just pick their brain.
I like Mike Leach, believe it or not, out at Washington State. Well, actually at Mississippi State now, and before that at Texas Tech. So, I believe he was out at Iowa Wesleyan for a few years too, somewhere when he started out. But just how he's kind of went from not really playing college football to becoming a college football coach, having the air raid offense, being able to sling the ball all over. He's a pretty funny guy if you've ever listened to any of his podcasts. He can be a little bit borderline, maybe insensitive at times, but I think he'd be great to talk with. I've read all his books. He's written books on Geronimo and Swing Your Sword about pirates, and he's just an interesting all-around guy, a little bit more than just football.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I've seen and heard a lot of his stuff over the years, and he is a personality for sure. What are you looking at, his offensive mind? What do you see? What have you read that intrigues you, the X's and O's wise? What do you like?
Well, I love, if you ever watch a game, how big his play card is. It's about the size of a index card, and that cracks me up when other coaches have 15 sheets. So I think just his knowledge of what he's going to do, and he's going to stick with it. If he plans on throwing 70 times, he's going to throw 70 times. That's just the way it is. But I do like how he has some nice schemes that run some pick plays for his receivers. He gets the ball out of his quarterback's hands pretty quick, so it's very well thought out, but it's one of those things like anything, whether you're running the wishbone or you're running a 5 wide, it's about getting reps. And I think the more you rep it, the better you're going to get at it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a dynamic mind in football, and certainly, like I said, a character, but there's something to, to look into for what he does. All right. This might be the hardest question of the whole podcast here. Who looks better in the winged helmet, Morrison or Michigan?
Well, now you got to include Molina in there too, don't you?
I think they just changed it. They went back. They went back to the M. So
I'm glad.
Did they? Yeah, I think they went back to the M.
Morrison certainly looks better than Michigan. Not a Michigan guy.
No, neither am I. So
I'd be more of a Northwestern guy. How's that?
Hey, I'm a Northwestern guy. I'm a Northwestern fan.
I know you are. I'm just giving you a hard time. I know you are. So
you've seen Twitter, apparently.
I do like Pat Fitzgerald too, though, as a coach. He would have been a good one to pick earlier as well.
There you go.
Good family man.
Yeah. Well, I'd say Morrison's put on a better product on the football field than Michigan too. So you go with that angle as well.
Yeah, we've had some success here. Hopefully we can keep it going. This is going to be a strange year for sure.
Yeah. Hey, last one. Best place to go in Morrison for food, but then also it's got to be a place that, you could talk a little football when you're there too. It's a place that's clued into the community.
There's a pub downtown, a bar called Fat Boys. They have a great burger. Brick Block Pub, Happy Joe's. It's got a nice little place in there. So I'll give you those couple there. And then you can talk, and sometimes those are places you avoid when things aren't going well. When they're going good, though, it's good to go down there. So, but they have good food. They're good people. The community's been great for us. We're excited for this football season.
All right, hey, that sounds good. I've driven by that place a million times, so someday I'll have to stop in there when I'm not in a hurry going from one football game to another.
I understand.
Yeah. Well, hey, Ryan, thanks so much for taking time. Good luck this upcoming weird shortened season. Hopefully you can, get something out of it, especially for your seniors. But I really appreciate you joining me.
Hey, thanks, Greg, for having me.